Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. And through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategic or compound return investing. So the objective is to try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades. We do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us in the challenge and get access to an exclusive in-depth strategy video, information is available in the description below. In the previous video we did an update on ticker symbol MMTLP and also an important update on ticker symbol NLST netlist, and this was focusing on earnings and also a very positive development with regard to the case with Samsung. So please refer back to the previous video for all those updates. In today's video we're going to be looking at some FUD regarding MMTLP and particularly NextBridge being spun out later on down the line, and the focus of today's video is going to be looking at the 1933 and 1934 Securities Acts, and I'll be going to be explaining why that is important with regard to countering some of the FUD. So before we do that, let's have a look at what's going on in the market. So a quick headline here from Reuters: the S&P 500 ends down as jobs data rekindles rate hike fear. So there is a little bit of fear here still with regard to inflation, and the other fear here is obviously another increase in interest rates which will increase the cost of living for most people, but will also have the benefit of hopefully reducing inflation. So I'm going to start the video by giving a shout out again to Imbecile 1 and Imbecile 2. They have been posting some additional comments creating fear obviously in the community, and what we are going to do is try and hopefully tackle some of the statements. So let's give a shout out to Imbecile 1 first of all, and what Imbecile 1 is saying here is they do not do any filing under Securities Exchange Act of 1934, which are filings for private companies. They are filed under the Act of 1933, which are for public sale filings. So again, the reason why Imbecile 1 is saying this is trying to create fear with regard to some investors, to give them the impression that NextBridge is going straight onto the OTC. It's probably going to be shorted, it's probably going to be worth pennies, and again, this statement is not true. So I'll be dispelling this statement shortly with hopefully with some evidence. But let's have a look at Imbecile 1's second statement here. So partly this is true, partly this is not true. So the first sentence is true. So the S1 clearly states that all 165 million shares are owned by 60,000 plus shareholders. So that part is true by the imbecile. The second one is where the imbecile is obviously either spreading lies or is completely ignorant, or is obviously creating fear, and that is where he's saying this is not private. So obviously the imbecile is not aware that in a private C corporation you can have unlimited shareholders. So obviously the imbecile is not aware of that. And the final shout out to Imbecile 1 I'm going to give you here is the imbecile has stated here, lol, I am not a FUDster, nor am I short. So if he's not a FUDster, I'm a Chinaman. And if he's not a FUD, and he's also saying nor am I short. So okay, maybe you're 6'5", who cares? What I do know, in the UK we call people like you as people living in cloud cuckoo land. And the next shout out is to Imbecile number 2, who is a tag team member. So Imbecile 2 has previously stated here on similar lines to Imbecile number 1, commented the MMTLP FinTwit Club this weekend. MMTLP will be spun off into NextBridge, a public company with public common stock. So again, a significant amount of ignorance here and also a significant amount of fear, similar to what's going on with Imbecile number 1. Okay, so if you remember what Imbecile number 1 stated that the S1 should have been completed under the 1934 Act. So let's have a look at how S1s are completed. So if we see here, the SEC Form S1 is a registration that companies must file with the SEC before they go public. In other words, before they can issue publicly traded securities. The form is required under Securities Act of 1933, not 1934, unlike the imbecile is stating. And this is what companies use to provide investors with critical information about the company. So from our point of view, the investors are obviously the energy companies, the oil companies. Critical information is with regard to all the assets and all the mineral assets, including oil and gas. So again, hopefully this dispels any arguments and fear that they are creating. So let's now focus on the private and the public aspects of the statements created by the two imbeciles. So first of all, with regard to the S1 filing at the top here, hopefully clear clarification here that NextBridge at the moment is going to be a private company. We can see here the form S1 is commonly referred to as an S1, is a form that private companies file with this US Securities and Exchange Commission when they intend to go public. So they're using that word public to create a little bit of confusion. So let's expand on where it states when they intend to go public and what that basically means. So again, what we can see on the screen here, I've highlighted it in yellow and circled it in red. The key thing what this means: going public is the process of selling shares that were formerly held privately and are now available to new investors. So these new investors, we're talking about Exxon, we're talking about Conco, we're talking about Marathon, and these are going to be available for the first time. So this is what they don't want you to know. This is what they want to dispel, and hopefully this is the plan going forward that will give us significant return in the spin out. But again, they are creating confusion by saying that this is not going to happen. The next thing I'm going to focus on is what Imbecile 1 was stating with regard to the 1933 and 1934 Securities Acts. So what the imbecile was basically saying that the company should have used the S1 in the 1934 Act and not the 1933 Act. So again, let's finally dispel this statement and myth here. So at the top we can see that the 1933 Securities Act differs from the 1934 Act because the former focuses on governing securities issued by companies in what is well known as a primary market, whereas the 1934 Act deals mainly with the regulation of secondary trading. So obviously that's not applicable to NextBridge. If you see the key headings here with regard to the 1934 Act, they're covering anti-fraud, insider trading, proxy solicitation, tender offices. We've already seen a requirement of the S1 comes under the 1933 Act. So imbecile number 1, please go back home. So I'm now going to finish off the video by looking at some monkeypox plays. And if you remember in the previous video, we know that the monkeypox was declared as an emergency by the Biden government yesterday. So quick reminder in terms of how we played this in the watch list in the Discord. If you see here, third line down, as stated on the 31st of July 2022, prior to the market opened, that monkeypox plays could make some positive moves this week, and we were in particular focusing on ticker symbol SIGA and GOVX, which made quite significant gains yesterday and today as well from a SIGA point of view. So today there was another stock that we called out, and that was, if you see here, ticker symbol APDN. So it was also called out on the daily stock alerts on the 3rd of August 2022. So let's have a look at the news with regard to APDN. So if you have a look at the screen here, article here from 5th of August 2022, applied DNA stock surges again for a 4-day gain of more than 870%. So this is quite staggering. Why is this stock going up quite significantly? It was up obviously due to the monkeypox virus. It has been going up much more than many of the other plays, rocketing well in excess of 870%. But what is the reason? First of all, we can see in this article here that the company have said they have initiated validation of a monkeypox virus test. So this is kind of the equivalent of a PCR test for COVID. Trading volume has obviously been huge. So let's now finish off by having a look at the chart. So if you look at the chart here for ticker symbol APDN, over the previous 5 days, this stock is up a staggering 745% based on at time of editing, and currently trading at $5.83. And just a few days ago, this was trading just above around about a $1 mark. So another stock that we will be watching, but right now, in my opinion, a little bit risky to enter at this high price. So hopefully there will be a pullback, quite a significant pullback, and that could certainly be a good opportunity. And finally, if anybody would like to get access to live trading, join us in the challenge and also get breaking news with regard to stocks such as APDN and also access to our weekly watches, you can join the Discord for little as $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.